Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hey! Hey! Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Please bring your hands in the open sky and sing with a joyful heart. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Jaya Giriraj, Jaya Giriraj, Jaya Giriraj. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. It is so nice to be with you in the. Yeah, there's one. We don't know if this is one star. Is it? It is. Venus. That is for artful creativity. It's a good star. Please, we will now make our ways. Thank you. How attentive. We will now make our way into this Kirtan Stali. Please assemble for the remainder of the program. Hare Krishna.
Oh, my cover.
माइक लगेगा आ रही है साउंड की
ये वाला तो नंबर वन put it there in front of the sound system. Class and they're going to speak. Him also, and there are two similar kind of Indian lawyers. But you spoke should Vrindavana or we don't? Both. Both the parties. Yeah, they are. And it's comfortable. They were saying, "Oh, it's how are you? What's going on?"
A little sick, but not.
Oh, the weather or the transition?
I believe I got someone was sick more than.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Pleasure to see all of you assembled in this beautiful hall with this most beautiful backdrop. Do you see Radha and Krishna and how many gopis are there? 8, yes, the Ashtasakis. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is here where the morning classes and the evening kirtans will take place, and also where Bhujan Prabhu will hold his afternoon presentations at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock, yes. What we will do now is we will give just a brief introduction to the sessions which will take place here, and then you have a little preview, and you might also sometimes see which sessions are most important for you to attend, where in case you get tired and need a pause, where you can make a small little pause. So my presentation is called let me get it actually right. The 7 oceans of Krishna. The next level of Krishna. A little louder? Yes, it is. We can adjust this. If we pull this up, I think this is organized from here, Prabhu. Oh, if I only would have oh yeah, oh, you know everything. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Oh, this is significantly louder, but I sound as if I'm addressing you from Yamaraja's planet. Maybe we can give a little bass or volume to the voice. Sound. Men, please adjust it to a human voice. Good. Hare Krishna. Here, let me say again, for those of you who were sitting in the back, we will give a just brief introduction to the classes which take place and the presentations and so on. What I intend to do is present something I call the next level in Krishna consciousness, Krishna Smaranam, or remembering Krishna throughout the day. We will go through 7 oceans of Krishna's sweet qualities, and in each one of them we will immerse ourselves and hopefully come out by absorbing these qualities in our mind and actually practicing Smaranam at that time. Sometimes Smaranam has been not so much presented in ISKCON, and when it was sometimes raising an eyebrow. There are 5 levels of Smaranam according to Jiva Goswami. The last one being in Samadhi, an absorption in Krishna, where you do not actually perceive the world around you. I don't intend to teach these, nor am I accomplished in these. I will only talk about the first level of Smaranam that is mentioned in works like the Padma Purana, where it says to always remember Krishna and never forget him. That is the goal, which all rules and regulations that a practitioner of bhakti will make will have to abide. And this is the essence of Krishna consciousness. So I've collected a few little jewels in Srila Prabhupada's books. The subject is vast, but we only have, I do not know, perhaps 5 presentations on it, and will try to guide you in meditations that he himself guided us in. These meditations of Krishna are simply called Smaranam. It means simple recollections. Being a non-English speaker, I like this word. You are highly inspiring with the coughing. To recollect. To collect means to go out and lift things up from the ground. And to recollect means you have had already some contact with these things. Please excuse me. And how to collect these jewels, how to hold them in the heart, in the basket of the heart, if we want to use poesy, that we will learn in this seminar. I'm basing this on a very wonderful verse. Young monks mitva gada, gada bhavati. Young monks mitva puta, puto bhavati. Young monks mitva vrati, vrati bhavati. Young smitva sakamo, nishkamo bhavati. Young monks mitva shrotiyo, shritiyo bhavati. Beautiful verse here. It's already interesting in Sanskrit because the word smritva, remembering, meditating, is always repeated, and bhavati, you will become. So this is the verse. By remembering me, a shallow person becomes deep. Let's say again. By remembering me, a shallow person becomes deep. By remembering me, an impure person becomes pure. Yes. By remembering me, an impious person becomes, yes. By remembering me, one full of material desires becomes desireless. By remembering me, a fool becomes learned. A beautiful shloka which says how great the benefits are of not only pervading the body with Krishna consciousness, but the external body by acting and moving in active service with the hands and all the senses. No, this speaks of engaging the subtle body, the mind, the intelligence, and our sense of identity in remembering Krishna and becoming desireless, becoming spiritually advanced, becoming pure, and so on. It's a wonderful, wonderful world that opens. Let me end when we had our Kirtan Mela in Mauritius. an island just before Africa. One of the devotees, who is a local resident, invited me to come to an underwater nature park. We were brought out in a boat to a coral reef. Then we were given these artificial frog feet. How do you call them?
Frog feet.
Frog
Artificial
feet.
frog feet.
You know what? What is it? Flippers. Acha. And we had got a snorkel. And I remember my childhood. I grew up on an island, and we went snorkeling. My dear devotees, I did not know that there exists a colorful underwater world with flora and fauna, means plants and a vast variety of fishes. Discovering this, I was totally in awe, and I remember I said, "Oh Krishna," and then I swallowed water because I forgot I was snorkeling. It was so absolutely fascinating to discover this. And much more than this experience is the experience of discovering the world of remembrance of Krishna and holding that remembrance in the heart in a willful way. It's not just a passing thought, but you stay with it for some time. Tomorrow in the morning lecture, we will actually enter this beautiful realm through a purport of the verse, Manmana Bhavamat Bhakto, always think of me. No? We will actually follow Krishna's advice and do that. This will, I think, I hope, I pray, lead to wonderful discoveries in us that will stay with us for a long time. Hare Krishna. The classes start at 7 o'clock and end just before breakfast at 8:30. Then we will have breakfast, and then an amazing, wonderful new presentation starts by our last speaker. He will introduce his subject at the end, I think, and now we will request our Jagatarini to introduce her subject. Hare Krishna. By the way, we are very happy to see you. Hare Krishna.
So, every year here at the Govardhana retreat, I have the good fortune to present a lila in the evening. And sometimes it's difficult to find the particular lila that you want to present because it has to be dividable into 5. And each one of those evening presentations has to last a substantial amount of time and have a completeness in itself. So one year, maybe 3 or 4, 5 years ago, I said to my husband, I said, I know what I'm going to do this year. I'm going to do the Damodar Lila. And he looked at me and said, no, you're not. He said, I'm going to do the Damodar Lila. So I thought...
I also crossed my arms and my legs.
He was very offended that I was about to consider. And so I thought I better wait a few years because, of course, these Leelas can be told over and over and over again. So then when I started thinking, okay, when I present the Leela, what I like to do is collect so many different accounts or references or commentaries or times that that pastime has been told by one of our previous authorities, the Goswamis, Kavi Karnapur, and so on. And then take all that information, and it's quite an arduous but wonderful experience to bring it all together and then sort through it and then take pieces, like you could say you're making a patchwork of something from here and something from there, but all the pieces are authentic. Rather than when I was young, I was a teacher of little boys, and so we would write out a lila. We would say, Krishna went to the forest and he started singing a song, and we'd make up the song and put it in there, and the little boys would sing it, and it was very therapeutic and very auspicious. However, the content was somewhat created, nicely so. But what I have been trying to do is a little more intense than that, because I'm holding on to the words of those who have actually seen the Lila. And I must say, it's a little confronting, because I haven't. So this year I found my content, and I started doing my process. And I felt as though we sing this Dhammadarastikam, perhaps all of us sing Dhammadarastikam for 1 month every year. And this year we have a program, I live, my husband and I, and a group of devotees. We live in Perth, Western Australia, which is an isolated place. And yet we have a group of devotees, and together we do our Damodar Leela every night during Kartik, at least the first 2 weeks before we come, or I come over here to be in the actual place. And so this year, one of the devotees kept coming and sitting next to me and saying, "What does this word mean? What does this word mean?" Because I realized that we sing this Damodar Leela, but the word for word, what we are singing, the Sanskrit words, we don't necessarily hold on to them because they're not in English. So later we may read in English, but at the time that you're singing, do you know what each word means? And the Damodar Leela is extremely important, extremely auspicious. So I had a sense that I wished to go in more deeply, both for myself, my benefit, but also for the benefit of yourselves also. Not so much following the Dhammadarastikam, which is also very auspicious, but actually penetrating more deeply into the Leela itself. So let me read you something that gave me my grounding. Be prepared that I'm going to ask you to follow me and be a little bit attentively thoughtful. God's form consists of eternal being, eternal knowledge, and eternal joy. He is in every way infinite. Throughout eternity, he perceives himself as the one who is to be known, and the one who knows everything. He is the fullness of unlimited power, greatness, and majesty. And he is also the source of unlimited sweetness, beauty, and unlimited charm. His eternal companions are eternally bound to him and serve him with the fullness of pure serving love. They know him through the medium of their endless, selfless love. Because of their pure love, they fail to place their attention on his opulences, such as greatness, power, and majesty. But instead, they experience him as the fullness of beauty and sweetness. Even when he manifests his unlimited, majestic, powerful character, they notice it, but they fail to realize it as such. This extraordinary secret, wonderful secret, is revealed in this Damodar Leela, which became manifest here on earth a little more than 5,000 years ago. In this loving play, Krishna appears as a baby and appears to follow the growth of an ordinary human child. His dear associates, who are like him in quality, do not have a sense of separateness from their love for him. Their joy is his joy. His joy is their joy. He loves them and they love him beyond the limitations of time and space. When this Leela becomes visible on earth, Yasoda Devi, Krishna's eternal mother, and Nanda Maharaj, his eternal father, both believe themselves to be mortal beings. Yet throughout all of time, they are absorbed in the fullness of pure loving service. And they exhaust themselves completely in their love for this divine child. The purpose of hearing this Damodar Leela is not to satisfy our craving for knowledge, nor is it to merely entertain us, but rather it is to awaken within us a desire that one day we too can experience the mood of service in pure love. For 1 month every year, we daily recite this beautiful Leela to assist us in this transition from rejection of God to that of heartfelt dedication by listening and praying to enter more closely into the mood of this beautiful pastime. The Damodar Leela is a glorification of the power of the intense, loving mood of service of Krishna's eternal mother, Yasoda Mai, and how she conquers even the supreme with her love. So let us begin. We will follow the pages of the Srimad Bhagavatam as our guide, with comments given by the previous realized authorities who have deeply studied and entered into this text. So this is my aspiration to share with you an experience, as we spoke about, Satchidananda Maharaj mentioned so nicely, that we know so many things, we've heard so many things, we can repeat so many things also, but we may not be experiencing them on any level, even just a beginning level. And the purpose of coming here and all the presentations, every one of them, every part of every one of them, is to offer ourselves and then yourselves an experience of something that will awaken our longing to actually wake up and be alive in our relationship with Krishna. However long it will take us to come to that point, we want to be pushed forward by these beautiful presentations, each one with their own importance. We want to experience that pushing forward, or as Satchidananda Maharaj mentioned, we would like to be called. That Krishna will call us and say, come, come. Come a little closer. I'm waiting for you. So, if you have time in the evening, if you're not too tired after a very auspicious, wonderful day, please come along and we can share this Damodar Leela together. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Beautiful. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It's on? It's on. What are you thinking while you're waiting? Maybe I should just use the other microphone. It might be easier. Yes.
Make sure it's close enough.
Hare Krishna. Am I audible? Yes. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamine Tanamane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharane Nivasesha Sunyavadi Pashatyade Satarane. One of the fortunes of sitting on the stage and speaking is that we get a chance to see Srila Prabhupada up there. And also, then it makes clear our desire to please him, clear to us. My presentation is, I liked very much what you said and what Mars said about the experience and leading us towards the experience, and the purpose of of all our presentations is to awaken and guide us in increasing our desire to be with Krishna, because Krishna's pastimes are so charming, and he's called the all-attractive one. He's called Krishna because naturally every living entity is attracted to him, and somehow or another, Krishna Bule Se Jeev, Anadya Bahimu, we have turned our back on him and our relationship with him. It's still there, but we've turned our back on that. And sadhana bhakti is meant Nitya Sadasya Bhavasya Prakattam Riddhi Sadyata, to gradually turn towards Krishna, or quickly, depending on perhaps our intensity and sincerity of desire. But we want to turn to Krishna, and that can't really be done by knowing, oh, I'm supposed to do that, or that can be done in that way. But really, if we develop an attraction for Krishna, then it certainly will happen more quickly. It's a strong force. We want this, we want this. So my specific presentation this year is on the chapters of the 10th canto, in between two major Leelas of Krishna. And the first one is Krishna's Govardhana Leela, which is described in the 24th and 25th chapters of the 10th canto. And here we are in the shelter of Giriraj Govardhan. And that's so prominent. And then beginning in the 29th chapter and extending 5 other chapters, there's the smiling face of Krishna. Krishna is dancing with the Braja Gopikas in the rasa dance. So in between those two major leelas is 3 chapters. And the first one is when the residents of Vrindavan, who have been just staring at Krishna and their minds fully absorbed in Krishna and in the amazing pastime where he's lifting the hill, and they realize, wait a second, this is after, when they return home, they realize, this is quite extraordinary, isn't it? This little boy is holding up a hill. And they're trying to understand his identity. And they go through a process where they question Nanda Maharaj about who Krishna is. And there's some very interesting philosophical points that parallel this incredible Leela. So sometimes the question is, what's really important? Is it the philosophy that really is hidden within these pastimes or the pastimes themselves? And the two are so interconnected, but ultimately the pastimes are the essence. But without understanding what's going on a deeper philosophical level, it's or let's put it this way, that it's much easier to enter into the pastimes if we understand really what's going on and why it's being presented in this way. The Bhagavatam is so scientific in its presentation and on every level. So that chapter, the 27th chapter, 26th chapter, has 2 parts. First, the questions and the questioning of the Brijbasis as to who Krishna is and what his identity is. And the second part is Nanda Maharaj's reply to that. So that will be the first 2 chapters. And then in the next 2 classes, the 27th chapter, is when Indra, he apologizes. He comes with Surabhi, the celestial cow. He comes with her on the order of Lord Brahma, and he comes and in a very humbled way, because before we can actually be humble, it seems that we have to be humbled. And people sometimes ask me, how do you become humble? And I say, just be patient. As we go through life, it just sort of happens. And Srila Prabhupada even said it, an old man can't be proud. He even said that. Because all the things that we are proud of are taken away by the force of time. They're just gifts of Krishna anyway, in any case. So Indra has been humbled. And Krishna has done that in a wonderful way in the Govardhana Leela. And then he apologizes, and that's the 3rd class. Very, very deep, and there's so many instructions for me as a conditioned soul and how to turn to Krishna in Indra's apology. And then following that, Krishna replies in a very brief but deep way to Indra's apology. And then Surabhi presents her appeal to Krishna. Indra comes to Krishna in fear, and Surabhi comes in joy. So that will be the next 2 lessons. My class is the the third and the fourth. And then in the fifth chapter, it's in some senses so astounding, and it leads in a subtle way that we will speak about when Krishna goes to rescue Nanda Maharaj from Varuna Loka, or where Nanda Maharaj has been taken from the Jamuna into the watery kingdom of Varuna. And it's very astounding how that goes. And then it leads to something still more astounding, how the desires of the cowherd men are fulfilled by Krishna in a way that's very, very revealing. Yes, so that will be the fifth of classes, and I think that's from 4:30 to 6 p.m. in the evening. But in between Maharaj's presentation in the morning and my presentation, and then finally Jagatrini Mataji's presentation, in between that, we have something that's very, we found very, there's no word deepifying, but it's confronting in many ways, and it's humbling in many ways, and it leads to many, it's something that generally speaking we don't have the time to do. And that's time to just have nothing else to do except be alone with Krishna, and then also together with Krishna's devotees. This is such a busy Kali Yuga world, and Maharaj mentioned that in his welcoming. It's such a busy Kali Yuga world that's full of distractions. So when we will go to in the presence of Giriraj Govardhana, and we won't take with us one of the central distracting features of Kali Yuga. Everyone will leave them at home, and even the photographers will not take photographs, because we just want this to be a very intimate and private time with Krishna, between us and Krishna. And we'll also have Mona Vrata during that time, which means no, etc., etc., etc. We just sit, and there's some guidance in the form of prompts in this way, and we sit and read, perhaps. We write. Prabhupada suggested that each day we write to keep our intelligence active, and also to keep a record of how we are doing and what we are doing. And we will also chant according to our desires, japa, or even gently sing to the Lord in a very deep way, and pray. But it will be our time to decide basically how we will use that time alone with Krishna. It's something that, again, that we as aspiring devotees really, I know that I have to-do lists, and I'm just thinking as I'm writing my to-do list, I can't wait till I check off. There's some satisfaction in checking off things in the to-do list, but my real desire is when everything is checked off, then I can do what I really want to do. But the problem is that that time never comes, because the to-do lists increase and continue, etc., etc. So what do we want to do, really? We want to have time to be with Krishna on whatever level we can. So there's a combination of spontaneity in this and structure in this time alone with Krishna, and then after we share with devotees as much as we feel as we want to share with devotees our whatever realizations or challenges that come to us at that time. So that will be right in the presence of Giriraj Govardhana. So close to Giriraj Govardhana, who is such a kind person. Can they tell the story of their lives? But tomorrow we'll describe it in a little more detail. I just want to tell something now. So we advise everyone to turn off their mobile phones. Otherwise, we'll all stare at you. So please be on time for that. Because if you're late, you're minimizing your time with Krishna, alone with Krishna, and with the devotees. And we will be giving you this evening a little guidebook that says what it's about and what will happen, and we'll discuss it more tomorrow before we actually enter into the first session. And each day between our classes, we will have time to reflect. We'll have between the class, we'll have time to be with Krishna, and that will be a time that we can not only hearing intensive, hearing the classes that are given, but a time to reflect on them and their meaning in our lives. And is there anything I can practically do to apply the principles, my current inspiration, what I've heard? That's what we'll do when we write in our books that will be given. So everyone will get a booklet that gives a very basic understanding of what will happen tomorrow in our Alone with Krishna time. And tomorrow morning we'll get one of these bags that contain all the ingredients, the book, the pens, and how to set up our own personal private altar there. Everyone will set up their own altar and offer incense, a candle, flowers to our altar. If you have pictures of your Guru Maharaj or Vaishnavas that inspire you, we'll provide some pictures of Giriraj, of Srila Prabhupada. And also, so everyone will get one of these tomorrow, and also some what we call prompts that will guide, as much as we want to be guided, our experience. And sometimes we don't know what to do next because it's such a rare time that we have nothing to do, and with no sense of distraction and no reason to distract ourselves. We confront our relationship with Krishna, so to speak. And anyway, there's much to be said more, but more than said, it will be experienced starting tomorrow, each day. Does it intrigue you, this concept? How many of you have done this before? Yeah, gee whiz. I asked one devotee who had come last year and participated in this in a very concentrated way, how she felt about the Harinam retreat and going again and doing the same thing. And she said it wasn't at all the same thing. It's all new each time. Okay, so I'll zip up the bag till tomorrow, and you'll get again this tomorrow morning, and please read this tonight or tomorrow morning before any of the classes. And one suggestion is please take some kind of notes during Maharaj's class and all the classes, so that you know what you want to reflect on, if you so desire. Points that either essential points, some devotees write down every word, or something that causes, that brings to your consciousness what you've heard. I know that Maharaj and Zakturini have worked very hard to craft these presentations so that they're meaningful and deep and very practical. So just so that we don't forget everything that we've heard as we go through the next event of life, especially after prasadam, that tends to delete everything from our hard drive or or random access memory. So take notes on the essential points that really capture you or inspire you, or write down everything, and then you can refer to them, and then that could be part of the reflection as you're writing and praying and chanting and reading. We'll also have some very special section of from Chaitanya Charitamrita for you to read, to refer to as you read as well. So it's, yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Good, thank you very much. Now we will we will welcome a very special guest, a very dear friend of most of the devotees. I remember when I was young and I wanted to give someone a gift, I gave him a tape of Agni Prabhu's Kirtana. That was special. So Agni is here. Yes, sorry. Yes, then I suggest you go over. Now, let us see. Agni wants to know how long the Kirtana is, so that we can. Is this the first? Does anyone know? You know?
Huh? At 8, we ended, maybe just before 8, so that we can have some closing words to...
8 then?
Yeah, that means basically 45 minutes.
Yes, 8, 45 minutes.
Is that good for you? Somehow or another we get some life.
Yeah.
1 second.
Is it possible to arrange the microphone?
Microphone, yes. You come forward somewhere.
Yeah.